So you got LAN 1, which is PoE. LAN 2 is not PoE. It is a pass-through.
What are you passing through to?
So you can take a laptop, for example, and plug it in here. Same thing with our LQ. Same thing with FreeSpeak 2 base. But that pass-through port allows you to connect into that network with, so let's say you run out of port switch or switch ports. What I've done as a trick when I go and commission a system, because a lot of places shut down ports unless you're setting up a new system, I'll just take my laptop into LAN 2 because it's a pass-through. So that's one. You do have power right here, so you can so the only time you really want to use local power is if you're more than 300 feet. Because PoE, as you all should know, kind of fails after 300 feet. You could take a copper line to this and go 1,000 feet if you want, but you got to have local power. It does have this USB connection. That will do a battery, like a USB battery if you want. But we usually use this, the primary reason I use this is for region changes. But that's something that you'll never have access to because it's a legal thing that I can't pass along. And then finally you have SFP cages. So you could do fiber. The only thing is you have to still do power if you do fiber. So in theory you could put this on the other end of a city. If you got dark fiber, you could go crazy.
Did you say with the IPT you can do 1,000 feet if you're locally powered?
Yep. It just comes down to...
Doesn't have to adhere to 100 meters?
No. PoE is the primary problem.
The same on the E1, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much any device that uses PoE, the issue is always just the power fails. It can only go so far. And if you power...
PoE or plus or plus plus?
Just PoE standard.
But if I'm over, so if I'm out of scope for 100 meters, I can still utilize that and just locally power it?
Yep. Absolutely. And by the way, you can kind of tell when an E1 is getting close to the end of the 300 feet or the PoE because it'll kind of bounce up and down. So if you see any one of these devices just going up and then down and up and down or losing sync, try powering locally and that may fix it.
With the E1? E1's powered by the splitter.
Yes.
That distance,
Same way.
1,000 feet?
PoE is PoE.
No,
PoE will only go 300 feet, but the E1 will go 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 feet.
I've hung an E1 on the other end of a pole box, a full pole box to get it there, and the only thing we had to do was power it locally.
So if I don't want to power it locally, I'm still restricted to 300 feet, 100 meters with the E1?
Yes. Any device that uses PoE, you're restricted to 300 feet.
I think y'all are talking about two separate things. You're talking about losing electrical power to the unit versus using a copper cable.
Yep.
But he's talking about distance of broadcast.
Yeah, so it's still the same thing. You can go 1,000 meters on either device. You just have to power locally. It's
But
just...
I don't want to power locally because I want everything to be protected by the UPS up the splitter.
I understand.
So what you're saying is a splitter to E1 is, what's that limitation?
It's still 300 feet.
So it's still 300 feet even though it's powered by that?
Yes. It's just a limitation of how far power can go over Ethernet.
It's the limitation of the 24 gauge copper
Yeah.
that powers the whole.
Now the other trick that you could do, and again, this is, I mentioned this earlier, if you have a second splitter, you could go a couple transceivers to the first splitter, 2 or 3, whatever, to the second, do fiber to the second, power locally. Now you're still having the problem with getting to your battery backup, but you could still do PoE on a second splitter.
Yeah, because I was going to do IPT and then I decided to do E1 because I'm out of spec to where one of the transceivers is going to be. So what you're saying is I'm not really gaining anything by doing that. My E1 transceiver that's still 400 feet away from where the splitter is going to be is still not going to function.
Yeah, because of PoE limitation. The data will pass. It's just not going to be powered up.
Okay, interesting.
And that's with any PoE device. 300 feet is about the max for any PoE device. Any other questions? Networks?
I got a question. Does ClearComm have, like Shure has manuals and brochures and and videos online. Do you have something online for that particular unit that's like a 10 video course or something?
Yeah. In fact,
Can you show that link up maybe?
guess what I'm going to show you?
Okay.
Solution Finder. So if I go back to the home page of Solution Finder, I still need to update this, I think.
You know, so we don't have to call you or anything, so we can.
Well, this is the first place I go. Okay, for example, if I scroll down here, we break this down by category. If I click on the Arcadia category, I can then search just Arcadia solutions.
Okay.
That takes you from 4,000 articles to maybe 500. So that's a first start. But if you scroll down, we usually update this stuff with useful information that we see that comes along. But at the moment, and this is something I just updated recently, we've got the training material for the Arcadia. So not only do I have training videos that we are slowly building up, because the guy that we hired, JP Torres, is on my team. He just started about a year ago, and he's doing everything graphics based. Rather than a person standing in front of the camera pushing buttons.
Yeah,
But that takes time. So he's slowly building out these videos. But if you sit here and click on the training material, it actually takes you, if you see there, I've been working hard on this page. We break it down by category within the training area. So we're slowly, as we build out these things, you can then go to training videos, and then if I go to, for example, the central station and HelixNet integration, there is a video.
Is this going to be on the slide deck?
Well, the Solution Finder is.
Solution Finder's on the slide deck.
Everything you want is probably in the Solution Finder.
Good. 'Cause, yeah.
It's a good central point. We even have one that's Spanish. Woo! So, there's a lot of stuff there. I also have a guy in Singapore. One of my colleagues in Singapore is doing what he's going to do is a bunch of shorts. How do you get into the menu of the belt pack and change this?
Right, yeah.
So we're going to try to build out like 30-second short videos of specific things that people ask about.
That's what's going to be useful on site. You
Yeah.
If you need to know something real quick, just look it up and see what happens.
This is it.
That's where you want to go. Solution Finder for that.
Yep. In fact, this is based on the Atlassian Confluence system. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Confluence. So you could download the app and just go to it there. Then it's natively built into your phone.
It'll probably be on the laptop.
Yeah. So just go to clearcom.com/solution finder. You're good to go. I think there was another question.
Do you have any training on Logic? Or is that,
Ooh, that's a tougher one.
no?
For Eclipse,
Yeah.
that's something you and I need to chat about separately. Yeah. There's so few people, I don't even know if I'll ever make a video for it.
Fine.
I don't need the attitude.
You can be making your own.
You know what? How about we train you and you make the video? You just volunteered yourself. You had a question?
Yeah, it was also Eclipse related.
Okay.
I've never seen an Eclipse in the field.
Okay.
Are there shows that deploy Eclipses?
Yes. In fact, the one I do every year is New Year's Eve. That's a massive Eclipse system. You'll see it on the larger shows, basically, the 50 belt pack systems.
I mean, I've seen the Atoms and the Artists. I've just noticed it.
They're usually on trucks.
Yeah.
And so we'll normally do, so if you look at New Year's Eve as a prime example, that's probably the biggest show, bar none, that I've ever been involved in. Even the NFL doesn't come to this level because the infrastructure isn't built in to Times Square. So they pull, dude, how many thousands of feet of fiber do they pull for that one event?
I wish I remember. I mean,
It's incredible. So not only do we,
that we're just dedicated to, all right, guess what? You're running fiber. Enjoy going down, enjoy going up, enjoy running a moving mast across a group of people.
it's incredible. So they run thousands of feet of fiber up and down the entire bow tie. They then have a TV truck outside, but that TV truck isn't the production truck. They then have a control room, they call it Bertelsmann, that's where the Disney store is located. They rent a old lawyer's office, and in the conference room they set up a control room. A massive control room, video switcher, audio mixer. Then they use some of the offices for like different departments and different crews. And then if you go to where the main stage is, they have another TV truck. They call that the World Truck. That's for the entire broadcast to the BBC, New Zealand, Australia. They send it to everybody else, but then they feed it to us when we do the ABC broadcast with Seacrest. So there's 2 TV trucks that have to work together. Then there's the main production stage where they do the main concerts. That is all Dante tied to the TV truck, both TV trucks. Then you got the secondary stage, and then you got the ABC stage.
And then the Connex offices where all the comms and RF are, which are centralized as well.
Exactly. So when you look at that system alone, it's unlike going to the Super Bowl where you have IOs throughout the facility and you just go up and plug in and you're up and running. This is literally, you have 5 days to set up an entire infrastructure, not just for ABC's broadcast, but also for the world broadcast, for Fox News, for CNN. I mean, you gotta have, what are those guys from CNN getting drunk? Anderson Cooper.
They're not even in Times Square. They're up on the 4th floor of the Marriott.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other one. We also have the Powerball studio that we have to set up because they have to have the first millionaire of the new year. So.
On the top of the building where the bottle drops.
That's right. We've got HelixNet up there, and that's tied over fiber all the way down to the Arcadia that's sitting at the main stage. So we actually have 2 different Clearcom systems. We have the main stage Clearcom, and then the main one for ABC. So it's a massive. Just for comms alone, we usually have, 6 techs? And also, by the way,
Operating techs. Those are just putting out fires and
Yeah.
getting stuff out.
it's constant. And then half of my job is once we get into the show, I just stand there and I follow around Seacrest and his crew, because his crew alone has at least 10 belt packs, and they're the first to scream and holler, "Oh, my belt pack won't work."
So it's really.
That's when I complain about producers, by the
Do
way.
you carry spares?
I actually usually have at least one sitting there, or I just give them mine.
Yeah, just carry a couple spares and just hand them.
It's basically just if you can't rent an Arcadia that has more than. You said most of them are 48 ports, but you said say you couldn't find a 132 port Arcadia, you would need to bump up to a Eclipse to get more ports.
Well, no, just license up your Arcadia.
In like a rental house scenario.
So here's the thing. At the end of the day, it depends on what the Eclipse frame has, because it's got
It's just
it's got cards. Well, not just cards, but the IPA card is also licensable. It starts at 16, 38, or 32, 48, 64. Matt's 64. In my opinion, you just kick those guys in the butt and you say, give me another license.
Okay.
This is going to be easier to use than the Eclipse. If you have never used Eclipse,
The UI is harder.
these guys use Eclipse all the time. The Eclipse is probably the most powerful system you could ever use. More powerful than Arcadia, right? Much more powerful.
Some cool stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I've used the artist frames. Those things are badass.
Well, I hate to say it, but it's nothing compared to what Eclipse can do, because they haven't done any other development on it.
I just mean that's
Yeah.
So that's not a normal scenario that you'd be pulling out on like a live show.
Yeah. I wish I could give you an answer. There's no boilerplate answer, unfortunately. It's dependent on what's the show, what hardware you've been given, and there's some shows I'd say Arcadia would work great, and there's other shows I'd be like, oh, you better use Eclipse, otherwise.
Eclipse is just like a Matrix mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can talk to all the other stuff that we've been doing. So
Yeah.
you would just have the brain in the middle, and then now you've got Arcadias and Helix that's kind of
You could.
filling out
You can do trunking from Eclipse to the Arcadia. Yep.
What about an offline editor for the CCM? I know that's been a hot topic.
Yeah.
Guys, hey, I need you to go learn the new Arcadia system that we purchased, but it's out on a gig for a month. You know, you got this real important gig. As soon as it comes back, you need to be ready to go for it.
We're, trust me, it's on the roadmap. We've begged and pleaded for it. I don't know when or if it's coming.
That's where those videos come in.
Yeah. Yeah. The other trick, though, is if you have one, do the configuration, save the config, and restore it later.
So the EQX or the Eclipse going into your Gen IC stuff, is it IVC trunks? Can we do a pop-up cloud expansion of our current Eclipse?
Okay, so IVC is coming. It hasn't come yet. It's right now you have to do LQ to the cloud. That's the gateway. But
IPA?
so same way. So eventually, though, I think it's in the next revision of the cloud, we're going to have IVC trunking from your Eclipse frame to the cloud. And just think big picture, guys. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to say. Just think about this. What's the future of the cloud? You can see where we're putting all this.
I don't. What are you talking about?
Think of any endpoint going to the cloud is basically what I foresee. This is usually when I get a little slap happy. I'm sorry, guys. I can't talk anymore. I also don't, the filter starts wearing off. I say things I shouldn't say. We probably should stop recording soon. So I foresee, I foresee everything you see on this desktop eventually going straight to the cloud at some point.
And just doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Now, are people going to do that purely across the board? No. Come on, if you got a show, you want something local that the internet going bust is not going to kill you. Because let's be honest.
So basically, you just have like an Alexa sitting on your desk and you just say what you want.
Exactly.
I need comms to this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy.
Yeah. No, trust me, we're not working ourselves out of a job here, too. Trust me.
I need you to mix the band, and I also need you to control the lights.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sit right here until it's over.
I don't think AI is ever going to get near that level.
I don't know. I think it will.
So do you
I don't think so.
that even eventually the belt packs will connect directly to the cloud?
I would bet it's going to at some point someday. I don't know what time, when, what the roadmap is, but you could probably say yes.
Do you think at that point in time people would say, since this belt pack is just connecting to the internet, connecting to the other belt packs through the internet, we might as well just use phones and some sort of calling software or something like that instead to be more cost effective?
I could see some productions doing that, but I don't see a bunch of them doing it because we've had people ask, well, why don't we just use Agent IC instead of FreeSpeak 2 belt packs? Okay, well, think about that. I have a belt pack. I know what button A does, button B does, and it's there. It's my tool. If I have to pull my phone out of my pocket, unlock it to start talking to somebody, that's a no-go. So I don't see it going to that, no. People are still going to want local hardware. You know, and even another thing, just to point that out, I remember I had a conversation with our engineers. I do a lot of training at our factory. And I was telling them how important quality is for the ClearComm. Because we have this in life and death situations. It has to work. It can't have bad quality. So I asked them, I said, what's the number one tool you use? And they said, well, my laptop or this testing device. Okay, well, if it doesn't work, what happens? Well, I go home. Yeah, okay, well, if my guy shows up at a production and his belt pack doesn't work, he goes home. The production doesn't happen. They're like, seriously? It's like, no, they're not walking around with their laptop doing a show. They're using their belt pack to communicate because that's their job, to keep the show running and communicate. So, no, I don't see it going away, to answer your question.
It has to just work.
Yeah, it just has to work. And unfortunately, that does require local hardware, not something just in the cloud. The cloud is meant to be an additional tool in the
That's
toolbox.
just where your routing is.
Yeah,
That's basically just your routing.
yeah. All right, before we get live, anything else?
Oh yeah, we're out of here. We gotta.
You gotta go?
Yeah, we gotta set up. We're doing a show tonight.
Oh, well, sorry you couldn't stick around any longer.
Yeah.
We're looking at about another 45 minutes, hopefully.
Yeah. Oh.
It's up to you.
I appreciate it.
All right, well, I'm going to go quick, guys, because I know it's almost, I should have been done with this about 15 minutes ago.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, guys. Good to meet you. I'm sorry I didn't put out any cards. Do you need any, or are you good?
I would love an email.
What's that? Oh, before you guys go, can I ask a favor? Real quick, because we're doing this tour all over the place. Could you just scan this QR code and fill out the form? I don't care if you say that I'm offensive and annoying, or...
Some of us see that as a plus.
The recording will be available.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, recording, yeah. It would be
Now I understand why you gave us lunch.
to buy you off. You guys in the car? You good?
So make it
Just don't call me on the weekends, please.
I was trying to come out to California.
It's Here you
Yeah,
go.
so it's either, what do you want me to say in there?
Say what?
What do you want me to say in this survey? What's it worth to you? What do I get?
Hey, didn't I buy you lunch? I bought you lunch. You guys want to spread out now?
I cleaned up the room real quick.
All right. We're going to get into this. So, here's the plan. Here's the drawing. Here's what we're going to replicate. We have an Arcadia in the middle here. We're going to have an RS701. I'll have a cue box set up here so we could get some tone going, just something to listen to. I've got my network switch, and I got an IPT, FreeSpeak 2, HelixNet, and an LQ. The plan is to connect that to my cradle point. So for those of you who are not familiar with this, here is a cradle point router. The cool thing about this is that it just gives me a LAN connection, which I still have to plug in because I'm losing my mind. Oh, wait. Nope, I just don't need to plug that in. So there's your LQ. LAN port goes into this. I'm using just Verizon Wireless on my 4G connection here. I personally think that every rental system should have one of these. That's my opinion. That's more money, but whatever. That cradle point then is connected to 4G Verizon Wireless, and then we're going to connect the LQ to the cloud, Gen IC, where we're going to take Agent IC and connect to it. And what we'll do is have some of you with your own Agent IC connection talking to a FreeSpeak 2 Bell Pack right here. And we'll see what the turnaround time is going from here to North Carolina and back. Who wants to be my Vanna White? I think you were my first victim. I usually aim for the person that asks the most questions.
That's fine. I have the most to learn. So.
All right, so the first thing we're going to do, and I'm going to have you...
Point your camera at stuff.
Yep. So, on that guy, you might have to get down low a little bit just so they can see it. But you're going to hit the menu button on the Arcadia. You guys can see okay? You're all good? All right. The first thing, ooh, looking a little fuzzy. There we go.
Close.
That's a cascading menu. The left knob does the first one, and then the second, third, and fourth menu follows suit. So if you take the first one down to networking, oops, if it times out though.
That was my complaint about the FreeSpeak 2 base station.
What, that it times out?
You time out, can't set it to not time out from the menu you want it set it to, and it doesn't come back to the menu where you were.
Now, Arcadia does go back to where you were,
Good.
but it will continue to time out. That's one thing we're not changing. I hate to say it. All right, you're going to take, so we're going to, you can't really see that, but that says management at the top there. So that's showing that it's on the LAN 1. So you're going to take that third one down to IP address. And what does that say? 10, oh no, guess what that says?
Link local.
Link local, XXX. So press, wait, go up to DHCP. It's currently enabled, so disabled. And we're just going to give it 10, just clear all that out. It's the touch screen. So 10.50.1.15. Did it do it?
Same subnet, is it one?
255.255.255.
Okay, cool.
Dot 0. There you go. All right. So now, he just statically set his IP. We're going to come back over here, and let me just make sure it works before we 50.1.15. There it is. So I'm on the same one. I want you to go in here, and you're going to hit admin. One other point. All devices coming from Clearcom now have a unique password from the factory. This is due to probably one of the very few California laws that I fully agree with. They require anything manufactured in California, and I'm not sure if it's beyond California, to have a unique password. How many times everything is admin, admin? Well, guess what? That's very hackable. Very easy. So I actually agree with this one law. So, while he's doing that, I'll switch back. So within the menu, you go to, I believe, is it administration? CCM access. And then there's default password. You can't read it because it's just the way this is. It's just kind of cattywampus. But there's the password that's defaulted to this. So what is it real quick?
05082 Charlie 26.
And that,
serial number, or is that just some random number?
so that's the DNS name.
Okay.
We use the MDNS.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought it came from over there. I'm like carrying.
So it's a unique password by serial number?
So it's not just the serial number. Sometimes it's the DNS, sometimes it's the serial number.
But if the law dictates that every serial number produced has to have its own unique
A
password.
unique password. It doesn't matter what it is.
Some manufacturers are using the MAC address,
Yes.
or part of it anyway.
Yeah. It's up to the manufacturer. The key is it has to be unique from device to device.
Wow.
Very good thing. Annoying to you, but good, in my opinion.
It's weird though, because I want to swear that my default password on my Arcadia base is the same as the default password on my FreeSpeak 2 base.
Well, it could be something you switched it, though. Because you can change it. In fact, let me show you how to do that. Can you repeat that to me here in a second? If I go up here, top right, change password.
Current password is 05082 Charlie 26.
And by the way, that Charlie, the C, is case sensitive. So I'm just going to make it all lowercase clearcom. All right, there we go. So it could have been something that somebody changed already. I don't know.
Well, if it shipped out of California before the date started, it may still have the
That is true.
standard password.
It very well could.
Did it push the password to the unit?
Yeah.
Where does it actually tell you anywhere?
Nope, it will not give you the new password. So if you forget your password, you can go in and reset it back to the CCM default. What was your question?
I think Arcadia came out after that law was.
I thought so too. I don't know.
I think that was a product of when like we all had to deal with it whenever there was an update with Eclipse and FreeSpeak, but I think Arcadia was.
I think you're right, but
that law.
I've had one too many bourbons to remember.
Ditto.
All right, I'll let you drive.
So once you reset that password, you can't recover it. You have to reset and you go back to the default.
Correct.
Default will be displayed.
Yes, that's correct. And so you just go through the menu like I just did here, and you say reset to CCM default or whatever it is.
So we're going to go.
So the first thing we're going to do is let's add the oh, you know what? I don't have an XLR cable. That's all right. So the first thing we're going to do is let's do the HelixNet. So let's go to hardware, and we're going to go through a little bit of the menu first, just so you got a basic overview.
I got a question because I was out of the room. Did you just network into the back of that? Is that all you did?
Yeah. So I've got LAN 1 coming out of this, going to this Netgear switch. I've got two switches here. I wanted to use the Cisco switch, but it's VLAN'd out. I ran out of ports for today's demo. So I got a Netgear switch doing admin HelixNet. This is going to be doing my AES67. So in this case, the LAN ports show you what's going on. So if you click down on LAN 1, just click the arrow, there you go. You can then, using the checkboxes, decide what traffic you want on LAN 1. You could literally merge management and HelixNet along with AES67 if you wanted to. Most of the time you're not going to do that. So, also, this is where you could decide is it static or dynamic. Maybe give it a gateway address. Yep.
But you said that you cannot have Dante on the same LAN port as everything else, correct?
No. On the same LAN port as AES67.
Oh, okay.
So click Dante for me. There it goes. Unclick it, but go down to AES67, LAN 2, and try adding Dante there. We used to allow you, but I went and complained so much to engineering that they finally added this warning and said, yep, you're not allowed to.
Wait, when did they add?
I think Rev 3 might have been when this was added.
Cool. So we just need.
So, we've got our IP addresses going. Let's go to upgrade. We'll just real quick. Oh, the other thing. You see that the pencil next to FF08? That's how you can relabel your Arcadia. So it's maybe system 1, system 2, rather than the FF. So why don't you just call it Omega? And apologies if my computer, I gotta get a new one. It's literally shit in the bed here, so. All right, upgrade. So this is where you could then upgrade the system to Rev 3. Download that guy from our website. It takes about 15 minutes. Please don't do it on production day. I had a guy call me, I just tried to do an update and I have a show in 10 minutes.
Sorry.
I got nothing. And he lost power halfway through the so it's nothing I did wrong. I'm sorry. It's comms 101. Don't upgrade on site. Wireless. This is a good tab for you to know about. So, the system ID is a unique identifier for that device. It ships with that special identifier. Why would you want to change that? Well, what if you have two Arcadia systems? Let's pretend we're doing a rental, and you got it in the main ballroom, and then you've got another Arcadia outside for some event for the production. Well, what if you want to roam from one system to the other? Now, they're in two RF zones separate from each other. They don't see each other, but you still want to use the same belt pack. You can actually set the system ID to the same on both of them, and though you will disconnect from one and reconnect to the other, at least it'll do that. It's kind of a cool feature. So that's what that system ID does.
Is that how the roles are assigned?
Yeah, yes or no. Yeah.
So if you, technically, if you had two different system IDs, it would have to like kind of be reassigned.
You would have to go in and connect to that system manually.
Gotcha.
Whereas the system ID is the same, it'll keep searching, and when it sees that system ID, it goes, oh, it's the same system ID, and the belt pack doesn't know any different, that it's something else. If you scroll down, that's a FreeSpeak Edge channels, if you want to exclude any of them because you're frequency coordinating. And then the final thing down in FreeSpeak 2 area, we didn't have this before on Rev 1 or Rev 2, but on Rev 3, you could take the E1 and have one port go to the splitter RJ45, and then the second one go to fiber. It used to be all or, one or the other. Audio RF filter is enabled automatically. That helps with multipath. All it does is it kind of blurs the edges a little bit, so you don't hear it as choppy if you have multipath. Keep it enabled. I don't know why you would disable it, to be honest with you. Battery type, you can put in a different type of AA battery. Reason being is, in fact, you guys are a prime example. You can actually put it inside of a chamber. Well, you can't have alkaline in a oxygenated chamber. You can only have nickel metal hydrate. So, because of the spark. So we actually have NASA facilities that use this FreeSpeak 2 belt pack with those poor bastards that have to sit in that, what are those called?
The decompression.
Decompression chambers. Those guys sit in there for hours on end and they have to communicate, so they use a FreeSpeak 2 belt pack. Well, we can't have a spark in there, it's a bad day. So. Oh, and then the final thing is over-the-air pin. When you connect a FreeSpeak 2 belt pack over the air, that's the pin you got to enter. Moving on to security, we do have security protocols set up so that if your company, who is it that's with Amazon? Yeah, Amazon may say, I want to put our own certificates on here. And a certificate is basically something that a company uses to ensure that that product is supposed to be on their network. So you can go in and add your own certificates if you want from Amazon. At least it'll make them feel better. That's the start, right? License. This is where you would then add additional licenses, like more ports. It's a very simple process. The key is, I would recommend that the Arcadia can get to the internet through your laptop. Any questions?
Is it already accessing the internet right now?
Right now, oh, you know what? Not yet.
That's a very good setup.
I need to plug that guy in. All right, moving on though, while I plug this in, go to resources. Resources is where you add or remove the endpoints, transceivers, and the such.
You said the Arcadia can access the internet through the laptop?
Yes.
The laptop acts as a bridge?
Yes. So when you add a license, it has to talk to our server in Carlsbad to say, yes, I am now taking this license, and once it takes that license, it's no longer available in our license server. Now, if you can't access the internet, that's okay. There is an offline version where you basically take a file from here, download it, upload it to us. We go, oh, yep, connect it. you re-download it, and bring it back into the Arcadia. So we have an offline version. All right, so moving on down, this is where you add your resources. So we'll start with transceivers. And we've got one plugged in. No, I had one plugged in. Where the hell did you go? All right, let me plug this guy in. While we wait, we'll move on to something else. Go to endpoints. All right, so endpoints would be Helix belt packs. Yep.
All the licenses to like expand the number of ports you have, those are just like one-time
Yes.
licenses.
Yes. It's not a yearly fee. You own it, it stays with that product. You can't reduce it though. It's not like you could use it for a show and then reduce it back down. So on the endpoints, you got your HelixNet belt pack. Now in this case, I'm going to take this HelixNet. I am going to go through the menu structure. Can you go back to the camera for a moment? Oh crap. All right, so there's your HelixNet belt pack. I'm going to hit menu. I'm going to hit the back button. The call lights go forward and backwards. I'm going to go down, and the encoder goes up and down. So if I go to networking, I'm going to say pair to station. There are two options. There's by name or by address. Well, why would you do by address? When you look at by name, it's actually going out and it's using DNS to find that product. What's MDNS is probably your biggest question. MDNS is basically when a system goes, hey, here I am, here's my name. All of our products do that. This belt pack does, our IPT does. It has an MDNS name out there that's always broadcasting out there to say, I'm discoverable, please pull me in. So the system automatically sees that belt pack and has added it. But if you look here, okay, now I'm going to take your blowhorn and complain about the network or the menu not going back. So if I go back to networking, pair to station, you see by name the Omega. So why would I do by IP address? Well, MDNS can only go so many times throughout a switch or through a route. MDNS doesn't like to be routed. So you can actually take a HelixNet belt pack on the other end of a network on a different subnet and connect it to the Arcadia by putting in the IP address. Does that make sense? MDNS won't go through the router. So if you go in there and you say by name and you don't see it, don't give up and say, oh my gosh, I got a problem. Go put in the IP address of the Arcadia. All right, so now that I'm in there, this also shows you it's using local config and it shows you the different roles. So let's go back to the Arcadia if you don't mind. And if you go up to configuration tab on the very top, let's set up a role for this guy. So first of all, we have channel 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they have check marks for HelixNet. So that's using 4 of the ports, right? If you add another channel on the left there, it automatically does not enable it. And check this out. What's really nice is over there, it shows you the port counts that you have. So it says you're using 4 of the 24 HelixNet channels that are available, but you are now using 5 of the total 100 ports that this is licensed for. Make sense? We're still on? All right. So we've got channel 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's go to roles. We're going to set up a new role. We're going to set up several roles, in fact. So click the add role on the left. And let's do HelixNet to start with. And if you look here, you have to make a choice. Well, that's because when you do the configuration, it changes the key set layout within the CCM. So go pick HelixNet belt pack and then click create. But it doesn't go away. This is really good feature for those of you that do rental systems that need a real quick just build out a system. You don't have to keep clicking create role. So let's do a FreeSpeak 2. So type in FS2 and then click the wireless FreeSpeak 2 selection on the right, create. And then let's close this out. We're good enough. So now on the left side you have all your roles. You can have a ton of roles in there and you can break it down. You can search for it by role name, or you can break it down by wireless or wired. You can also multi-select multiple things and it'll create a cascading menu here. So you could change everything at the same exact time if you wanted. So let's go back to HelixNet for a second.
This Helix.
Yep. And there's your channels. So if I click on that menu for channel 1, I could sit there and change, click the 4 squares. I can now go in and change it to whatever channel I want, and it notes, so try clicking channel 5, it's going to give you an error. Sorry, HelixNet is not enabled. So it shows you which ones are available for that. So click it back to channel 1. Another thing is you have the local key set functions. Is it latching or non-latching? What is the minimum volume limits? I always set the volume limit for the follow spot guide to at least 0. Those jackwagons always turn it down. What is the USB flasher mode doing? Remember how I told you that earlier? You could plug in that little flashlight. Interlock, that's kind of a cool feature. That's where there's some people in this world that can't figure out how to make buttons work. So interlock means I tap A, B turns off. I tap B, A turns off. Actually, lawyers, fun story. The courthouse, the federal courthouse in Washington, D.C. has FreeSpeak Edge in every courtroom now. This is like the step below the Supreme Court, in fact. Well, the federal courthouse had these for COVID so that the lawyers can talk to the defendant, as an example, using a handset, using FreeSpeak Edge. And then they could push another button and it talks to the judge, and they can have literally a conversation with the judge without leaving the table. Works really good. Oh my God. Trying to explain to a lawyer that you have to turn off button B to turn on button A to talk to the judge. These people are paid how much to be this smart, and they can't figure out how to push a damn button. So guess what? Interlock is on everything. Because the other thing I was scared to death about was a mistrial because they couldn't figure out how to push a button. So can you imagine calling me up? We had a mistrial because, oh yeah, forget about it. I'd lose sleep over that one. Anyway, stacked keys. You can actually have multiple channels on the same key. So you push one, it does several things. And then over here, you've got the global settings of that role. If you go to the FreeSpeak 2, let's cover that while we're here in the roles area. Same thing. Channel A, B, C, D, reply. What am I doing with it? The difference, though, is if you click on one, like button D, it gives you more options. You notice HelixNet only gave you the channels. This has more. That's because it is an individual device. Every FreeSpeak 2 belt pack is its own thing, which is how you do point-to-points and groups. That's why it's so unique. So it gives you all these other options. And as a role, you add that as a key set, and now I'm talking point-to-point with that other role. Otherwise, it defaults to call. Or you can blow out call if you want to. So close that out. Over here, that's where you give it a group membership. So if you want, that all call I mentioned earlier, that's how you would do that. But we don't have one set up. You got display settings. Think about stages. You don't want a blinking light floating across a dark stage, so you can turn it up or down. Eavesdropping, mentioned that earlier. You got the jackwagon, that's an HR nightmare. That's how you turn that on. Here's the thing, though. You have to go in and take that role and make it a listen on your belt pack, which means if you click listen for that belt pack, you will hear everything that they say and they won't know it. Be careful. I think in some states that might be illegal. I don't know. Scroll down over here. Headset. You've got your side tone gain. Remember what side tone is? It's your voice and your headset. In China, they don't like side tone, surprisingly enough. I guess they're all politically correct and don't say bad things on hot mics. But I like side tone because I want to know when my mic is hot. One little trick. This is a very important trick that everybody seems to enjoy that I tell them about. Who here has that guy, that director, that producer who is deaf because they've been talking on a headset their entire life on the same ear?